Hello and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of Shirley Luu Finance. I am your host, Tia Young, and sitting right next to me is our co-host and co-producer, Shirley Luu. Now, some of you may wonder why I am hosting Shirley's segment. So, Shirley is often out of town, so she comes up with the ideas and calls me on the phone long distance, and I put those ideas into motion and agree to host. This way, we keep her segments moving. Our guest today is a former fire chief, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a devoted husband, and a loving dad. His passion in life is helping people. As a business owner and entrepreneur, his management philosophy is very simple. Lead from the front. Pick good people. Always have fun. He created Ultimate Outcomes LLC as a forum to educate people on how to both simplify their lives and how to protect their family at the same time. Please welcome former Fire Chief Tim Pelton. Hello, how are you?
Thank you, Tia. Thank you, Shirley. It's really an honor and privilege to be here today and to share some thoughts with your audience and develop more about how I do like to protect people. It's been my career, and now I've moved that on and put on an entrepreneurial hat to not only protect your family, but make your life simple.
Wow, and we're so grateful to have you. Thank you so much. Shirley.
Yes.
Tell our viewers what you've been up to. We haven't seen you for a while.
I know. Thank you. I miss the entire audience, and I miss you a lot. And you know, even though I may not be in this particular media capacity, I'm in other media. I've been on SiriusXM Radio.
Good.
I've been fortunate in October 2016 was featured in Forbes magazine.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, very soon, WUSA Channel 9, I'm going to be having a streaming video on the website of WUSA Channel 9 TV.
Oh, so, that's great, Shirley.
Yeah.
You've been busy.
I know I've been busy, and of course, you know, this weekend coming up speaking at the Government Center facilities, and then continues, you know, traveling to Vegas and California. Tia, just been around the country, and now I'm working with the NFL and the NBA player as well. And
wow.
Yeah, I meet some of these amazing people and do a lot of the education. But to be honest with you, what really got me excited, and just real quick, is that we had a client calls me yesterday and said, Shirley, I need $60,000. $60,000.
She wants you to loan her that?
Well, you know,
not quite.
Well, when she said about $60,000, I said, okay, for what? And she goes, well, I needed to buy a house. But you know what? It was so great. I went into her accounts that we opened 10 years ago. I was able to get out $60,000 for her. No taxes consequences.
Oh, wow.
No 59.5 rules, regulation. Her money continues to grow, and she still have a $300,000 life insurance to protect her family afterward.
So she didn't even know she had that.
Not that kind of, and I made her to put this away 10 years ago, and she was like complaining at that time.
Yeah.
But now she's so grateful, you know.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm curious, how did you and Tim, how did you guys connect?
It was fate, it was God's will, and I bless every day since. We were in New York City at what is called a media conference. And think of it like speed dating for the media.
Yeah.
A huge conference room full of all the network shows, all the radio shows, all the print media, and you have an opportunity to go pitch your story, promote your product. And it was day 3, and my feet were tired, my head was tired. I just wanted to go home and curl up and say, this has been done. And there's a green room where we all sat and prepped each other, and Andy and my beautiful bride Andy sat down, and this woman sat down next to us. And what do? Hi, how are you, where you're from, all that sort of stuff. And Shirley said, well, I'm in strategic financial planning. And I said, oh, that's great, because I have a strategic family plan. And we found we both used the word strategic in 2 different products.
Yes.
And then we sort of did, tell me more about yours.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you more. And the synergy just took off. We just dovetailed with both of our missions to help people, protect people, and give them a strategic plan that everyone can understand. Imagine an insurance program that you can understand.
Right.
And a policy that says, let me take all of the loose ends of all the important data that's in our life. Our deed to the house, the title to the car, our will, passwords. Oh, passwords drive everybody crazy.
Yes.
Imagine keeping them all in one place for future use. Everything's consolidated together.
Right. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But the one thing that I want to know, you have a motto, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about that motto. You say, life is too short not to have a good time. What do you mean by that?
I am always an optimist. And as we listen to the news and the news around the world, it sounds like the world is falling apart. And it's not. The headlines are headlines, and they would need to get ratings and all that. But I look at life as, I woke up today, I saw the sun, I had a cup of coffee, it's a good day. I'm not worried about all those other things that tend to drag people down, because I know with our product and with Shirley's product, we can modify someone's life today. We can make someone's life better.
Right.
And so I like to say often, life is too short not to have a good time.
Not to have a good time, yes. Well, Shirley, I want to go back a moment, if I may, to the testimony that you just gave about the woman with the $60,000. What kind of product did she have? What did you sell her 9 years ago? Or was it 10 years? 10 years ago?
10 years ago. Well, at that time, you know, we've always thought about using life insurance as a great strategic vehicle. But people never ever thought of it as a saving vehicle, as an opportunity to have future growth.
Investment. Like an investment.
And the beautiful part is that this particular product is called an index product, where if the market performs, the client makes the money. If the market falls below, it locks down. There are no losses. So therefore, it gives me an opportunity to build up cash flow inside the life insurance. And I know I mentioned earlier how she can get it out tax advantage, tax-free, was because we structured it when she needed the money. It was a loan feature that we took inside the life insurance.
So she's taking a loan from herself.
Yeah, a loan from herself. And so, you know, okay, so what? You know, she needed the money. She can always pay it back later, and at the same time, you know, she doesn't have to pay it back either.
I was going to ask you what happens if she doesn't pay it back.
Well, if she doesn't pay it back, it's really cool. That $300,000 death benefit, they just subtract out the $60,000 that she takes and pay her family $240,000.
Oh, okay.
But keep in mind, the accounts do continue to grow
so
down the road.
Interest
but guess what? It's not just a little death benefit. It also have all the living benefits, the chronic illness, the critical illness, the critical injury, the kind of things that she needs in case if she get hurt, get sick. And to me, that's really important.
Yes, it is important.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, tell us about your product. And then I want to know, how does your product and Shirley's product, how do they meet? Where's the synergy there?
Think of my product as a way to capture all the important documents and data that's in our life. And the product is a USB, but it's divided into two categories. One is education, where I outline, for example, why a living will is important, why changing your passwords is important, why keeping track of all your bank records is important. All that important stuff that people kind of say, gee, I think I need to learn more, but I don't know where. It's in there. And for each of the 30 sections where the education component is...
You have 30 sections?
30 sections.
Wow.
There is an Excel spreadsheet to capture who was my attorney, who was my dentist, who was my doctor, where's my living will kept, where's the deed to the house. All those things that a person needs to know, or more importantly, your family needs to know when the good Lord decides it's our day to be taken away. And to just hop back to Shirley's products for a minute, I am a client of Shirley's, so we have full disclosure there. But I always thought life insurance was for when I died, and for my family, and for my beneficiaries. But I'm also at the age bracket where long-term care is very much on my radar. And so as I shared that with Shirley, she said, well, how about we do a hybrid product, all in one policy, that is life insurance, long-term care, what if you get cancer, what if you get a heart attack, what if you want to go buy a condo in South Beach in Florida? Here is one product that gives me the flexibility to do all of those things.
While you're still alive.
While I'm still alive.
While you're still alive.
And so it was a very refreshing perspective on the insurance industry. And you know, candidly, it's a difficult subject for a lot of people to talk about. Gee, I would like to have a nest egg for my family, but that means I have to die for them to be the benefit. So let's talk about this later.
Right. Well, Shirley, how did you...
Well, what Tim offered that I loved when I saw it was this. We had a real situation just happened last week. It is so sad. We had a client that passes away, and guess what happened? He did not have this magic castle key that Tim provided. If this software would have been available at that time when I met him years ago, I could have said to him, look, you need to sit down and have everything planned. You know, today, who holds your bank account, check account? Guess what? He has nothing. He's the only one named on the bank account, and no one have access to it. Now it's going to go to probate.
No, it's going to go to probate.
Okay, and at the same time, who's his, everything about him has nothing. Now is his cousin running around trying to figure out, because he has no wife, no kids, no family. You know, and this caused such a severe heartache on everyone else, because now he's got a house. Okay, who's the house deeded to? We don't know. Now the next of kin, well, the next of kin is his cousin, because they don't have anyone. His mother passed away, his dad passed away, no brother and sister. So you see the dynamic of this thing that's happening right now. So I'm dealing with, okay, you know, I mean, and I feel strongly that people need to have protection. They need to have this so that if something happened, you know, like let's say for me tomorrow, all I have to do is just pull this out and all the information is there. It costs so much less headache, you know.
Right, that was going to be my question. We have about a minute and 43 seconds before we go to break. But I was going to ask, does your, is this a binder? Is that what, oh, you said it's
Actually,
a USB.
It's a typical USB that is custom designed and formatted inside with the 30 subject matters that everybody seems to know.
Okay.
So you can get educated on each segment, and then when you say, okay, I need to capture all my credit cards.
So you got a credit card.
There's an Excel spreadsheet where you put in all your credit cards.
I see what you're saying.
And the end game isn't just for the person that has the castle key. It's for your family.
Right.
For when you pass away.
Right.
And after the break, we can talk about why I'm so passionate about that, and I'll tell more about that story. But for those of us who have had a loved one pass away, and the loved one had no plan,
right.
It's
very
really
sad.
It's really
traumatic.
a challenging effort to try and manage.
It really is.
And that's one of the goals of the Castle Key USB, is to lay out all of those needs. And you can even design your funeral. Imagine that your family could sit there and say, here's who he wants for pallbearers, here's who's going to do the eulogy, here's where the catering hall is going to be, or he doesn't want anything.
Right.
But it gets those hard questions immediately available to your family.
Good. Well, we are going to take a short station break, and we'll be right back. So don't touch that dial.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. You're watching Skills to Pay the Bills, and today's segment of Shirley Luu Finance with our special guest, Tim Pelton. Tim, before the break, you were about to tell us why you are so passionate about your product and your service.
Well, I am the sole survivor of a family of 5. And so I've buried my mom, my dad, my brother, and my sister. And when you do that, you learn a lot along the way about having strategic information readily available and about having a funeral plan when it happens. And let me give you a short story of what really solidified my mission in developing the Castle Key USB. My dad passed away in 1976. I think about him every day, but for whatever reason, he died with no plan. He didn't share it with mom, myself, my brother, and my sister. So we agonized over, did he want to be buried? Did he want to be cremated? Where did he want to be buried? What should we do? And it was a hard decision, and we wound up placing him in a family plot in upstate New York. 10 years later, my mom, who's now living at the Jersey Shore, said, let's go get Dad and move him down to the Jersey Shore. Okay, Mom. A little unique request, but I am here to help you out. And so we moved Dad down to the Jersey Shore. If they had had a conversation, and if he had developed a funeral plan, we could have eliminated two agonizing steps. Yeah. The other side is my sister, who passed away in 1992. And based on what she saw with my dad, She designed a memorial service, who was going to speak, what the music was going to be, what color ribbon was going to be on the memorial service program, what the food was going to be, where it was all going to, and it was incredibly easier for us to have a funeral, still grieving for the loss of your sister, but this is what she wanted.
She left a legacy.
She left a legacy, exactly.
Legacy.
And that was the creation, having dealt with those two situations, of why my wife and I have taken on the passion of educating people, why it's important to keep all that information in one place, and why it's important to have a strategic life plan.
You know, you mentioned your wife, Andy, a lovely person. She works with you in the business. What does she tell us the role that she plays? We should have her here. She should be sitting here too.
She didn't want to. She's such a shy woman.
She should have been
here. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yes.
She is my coach, my critic, my spouse, my best friend, my lover, the mother of our lovely daughter Jennifer, and she's the one that keeps me on the straight and narrow. And as we're developing this, I'm not good at English and grammar, and she was a school teacher.
Right.
So I call her the comma queen. Comma here, comma there, comma this, comma that. But she's really my backstop. And every once in a while she'll say, okay, no, you're way off the mark.
She's got that intuition.
Reel me in a little bit and keep me on the straight and narrow. But she's very much a close team member, and we're joined at the hip along with Shirley as we proceed down the road of protecting people's lives together. Now,
Shirley, I know that you've got a big conference coming up, I think in August. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And Tim, are you going to be at that conference? And is it Vegas?
It is in Vegas, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Tell us a little bit.
And one of the things that, you know, this Vegas trip coming on August 2nd through the 5th, we're going to be at the Red Rock in Las Vegas. And it's really important, you know, it's where once a year the team meet together and mingle, find out what's the latest, getting new product training, company updates information and what's available. And with Tim being there, it's really, I want to tell the team, including myself and every team member of mine, is that, you know, as you're going out there telling the client, preaching these kind of things, having this software is such a critical, important piece of documents, important piece of storage information where you can have it somewhere. I just love it, and I just, of course, you know, I bought this software for myself to utilize, to have. You know, I've always believed in walk the talk. You know, if you're telling people that this is such a good thing, why don't you have it? And you know, Tia, even if I sat and look at you today, is all your document in one place?
The answer would be no.
Right, exactly. And I
know better, but I don't have a tool. Right. So, you know.
And so every person I've talked to, as I'm reaching out there, I'm just as passionate about his product as I'm passionate about financial planning.
Okay, so that's good. So when you guys are out there, you're talking about your product, but you also are talking about what Shirley does, your tag team. That's good.
We're very much integrated in the same ballpark. And if you've ever gone for a mortgage and you have to provide all that banking information, and all of that could be on your Castle Key USB, and it would be immediately available.
Right.
And so, and I mentioned before about life insurance and whatever. It's a delicate topic, and you need to have a certain amount of tact to talk about it.
That's correct.
But as we have worked closely together, it's our mission to educate people.
Well, you know, when you first started talking about the Castle Key USB, I was thinking, okay, well, that's just for people over 65 years old. But now as I listen to you, my question is, who is your product for?
Outstanding question, and I'll share with you, when Andy and I first designed it, it was for the AARP group. Right. Because we are
the baby boomers,
in that category. And as we shared the prototype with different people, with younger people, and even some millennial people, they said, "Ooh, I can use this because I have a condo, I have a 401k, I have a car, I have assets. But heaven forbid, if the good Lord should take me today, who knows that I have these assets, or who knows where the data is?" And a phenomenon that I ran into as this got developed is what I call the sandwich generation. And a couple in their 40s, 2 kids, mom and dad live across town. I want to buy that for my dad, because he's 76 years old, and we really need to keep score and get his data aligned. And then I would say, and how about you? Well, no, I'm 40. I don't plan to die soon. Well, I don't think anybody at 40 plans to die soon.
That's right.
But in this day and age, we can never accurately predict when we may pass away. And I was able to modify his behavior to say, okay, you have money for the kids' education? Yeah. Okay, and you're paying a mortgage? Yep. And you have a house, and you have a car, and the dog, and the white fence, and everything. And he said, oh, I guess I need a Castle Key USB too.
But I think more important than that, I'm taking one step further. If you are a young one, like these wonderful TV cameramen right now, right? Your checking account, things like that. Even today, you know how sometimes you scramble when you get certain stuff?
Right.
What's your driver license number? I don't know. Imagine you take a copy of your picture driver license, you upload it into USB, you have it there. Your passport. Oh my God, I do so many traveling trips. They always ask for my daggone passport. And if I lost my passport, imagine that I've uploaded a copy of it, I have that information there. So it's information that you can use while you're alive, not just dead.
Right.
You know, and that's something I think you need to expand into further.
So
I know
anybody,
we can talk about that.
I mean, it's for anybody. I would say anybody that's at least 18 years old, probably.
Well, you know,
graduation, high school graduation gift.
Well, one of our markets that we're working closely with is wedding planners.
Yeah, that's right.
And you spend $1 bazillion to have your wedding, and so the wedding planner can give the couple a new gift as you start your new chapter of life together. Here is a USB,
that's a great idea.
A Castle Key USB to start your life together, and just as a gift.
Right. Now, in your earlier years, you were a fire chief. Did that have anything to do with shaping you and shaping this product and how you interact with people? Can you talk a little bit about that? It
had an enormous impact, because during my time as a fire chief, I would deal with, unfortunately, fatal situations, fatal fire, fatal automobile accident, where people passed away unexpectedly. I'm also intimately involved with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation Memorial Weekend, where every October we memorialize the firemen and firefighters that have given their lives the year before. As I speak to the families, a very common theme was, I think he had insurance with the fire department, but I'm not sure. She always paid the bills, but I don't know. Was that online thing? I don't know how that works. And so I got reinforced time and time again that people need to be educated to capture all of that information, because in reality, we never really know.
That's true.
When our final day may be.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
right. Shirley?
And you know, so often I meet young folks, okay, that go to work, you know, they're 20-something years old, and I ask them, I said, you know, it's important to plan what you have, and, you know, a financial plan, and more important, you know, have to have this information available. And they goes, oh, I don't need it. And like he said, then I looked at him, I said, let me ask you a question. You love your family? Yeah. Okay, so the question is, if something would unexpectedly happen, whether it's your checking account, you know, the stuff that you currently have, who have access to it? Well, no one, me. I own the account. And you know how young people have they're the only one on the checking account, the savings account. They have no one else on it. So if they, and I said, okay, so you're to me to tell me if something happened unexpectedly, that money don't belong to your family. It goes to probate. Right. So that you're telling me that you'd rather the state and probate and everybody else have the money versus your family. And I'm, you know, I just want to get this education out there. And until the time I want to shake people up.
I know that.
You know, it's like, are you kidding me?
I have a 22
are you not even saving?
That lives with me, and those times I want to just.
You need to save $5 a day, and for those people out there, if you're not even saving $5 a day, you're in trouble. I'm telling you guys.
That's true.
Time passed by quick. You know.
That is very true.
Yes.
Well, we have a little less than a minute and a half, and I want Tim to quickly talk about the book that you wrote, The Ultimate Family Gift. Tell us a little bit about that book.
It's an interesting cart before the horse story. We had originally come up prior to the USB with a binder, 3-ring binder, and sheets of paper to capture all the important information with the 30 sections tabbed out. And so people looked at it and said, well, gee, Tim, this is great, this is pretty interesting, but why are you so passionate about it? Why are you so energized to educate people about it? And I said, maybe I should write a book about my life story, about why I've translated my experiences, both with my family and the fire service, into creating the importance of capturing personal data. So I wrote the book, The Ultimate Family Gift. It's available on Amazon. And so it really went together with the binder when people would say, oh, now I get it. Now you've motivated me to think more about what I want to do with the rest of my life based on your experience. Right. And I'll be the first to admit my experience is a little atypical with sole survivor of a family of 5 and being in the fire service for 25 years. But you put all that together, and is there a way to turn tragedy into a positive experience? Yes. Yes. That's what the Castle Key USB is all about.
Well, Tim, I want to thank you so very much. I'm going to reach across Shirley and shake your hand. Thank you so much.
Bless you.
It's been a pleasure. And Shirley, stay around a little while. I miss you when you're out of town.
I know. And you know what? I plan to definitely get back in the game again, be more, because right now I think there's some big stuff coming. I can't say what it is, but there's some amazing stuff coming for the audience out there, for the business world. So.
Okay, so you'll be talking about that on our next show. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed our segment today with special guest Tim Pelton. Please join us next week for another great interview. Thank you for watching Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of Shirley Luu Finance. Have a great week. Bye-bye.